Hello everyone, DSP here, and welcome to our daily update for Saturday, October 17th, 2015. Yeah, we are officially more than halfway through October already, and finally this week we're coming up with some big heavy hitters in gaming. I'm very much looking forward to it. Live streaming will return this week, by the way, on a pretty regular basis. If you want the full skinny on that, you should check out my Hate Live podcast from this past Thursday night, which is live on my vlogging channel, The King of Hate Vlogs, here on YouTube. I went into full detail of what to expect this coming week, but just in a nutshell. This Tuesday, the conclusion of Life is Strange, as well as Tales from the Borderlands, as long as those are available to play during the day, and I will be live streaming both of those. This Thursday, the Street Fighter V beta makes a return, and there's new characters, so it's going to be awesome to try out all these new characters. And this Friday, the premiere of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So all of those events will be live streamed. So pretty regular live streaming this coming week, at least, Tuesday or Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday into the weekend. And we'll see then, we'll play it by ear and see, do people want me to continue streaming or should I cut back on it, etc. Okay? So I'm excited. A full week of multiple new releases. I'm pretty pumped. I mean, let's be honest here. I think everyone who has been watching my stuff is a little disappointed that there really haven't been any big AAA releases this month yet. Honestly, there haven't. There have been none. And some of the ones that there was potential maybe to be a lot better, people didn't like as much. And it is what it is. The first half of the month has been slow, but it looks like we're going to pick up this week. And then full steam ahead throughout the rest of the gaming season. New releases every week. Tons of stuff coming out. I want to give everyone an update in regards to the Halloween special. There will be a Halloween special on Halloween, October 31st. It's actually 2 weeks from today. That special is going to be a day-long marathon. Okay, it's going to be a 7-hour marathon or so of a Halloween-themed content for you. And right now, patrons for the month of September, people who pledged to my Patreon in the month of September, have been nominating horror games for the past couple of weeks. Now, if you are a patron for the month of September and you have not nominated games yet, you absolutely should ASAP, because within the next couple of days, I'm going to be closing down the nominations thread on the kingofhate.com forums, and I'm going to be opening up the poll, where people will now be voting on what they want to see. And that's going to determine what game or games I'll be playing during that marathon, okay? So post up your nominations if you haven't, if you were a September patron. And within the next couple of days, the poll will go up. I'll let everyone know what the choices are in the poll, so you know what to look forward to on October 31st. Okay, going to be a special event. I'm going to get a costume and dress up. It's going to be pretty fun. I have not yet even gotten my costume yet. I'm not going to pick it up this week. I'm probably going to get it next Saturday. I think Leanna and I will go out and finally pick a costume for me to wear during that marathon. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't done a Halloween special in 3 years. Although I've done, very limited, 1 hour long things the past couple of years. I've never done a day-long Halloween special in 3 years, and I'm finally getting to do one this year thanks to the viewers and the patrons. So that's freaking awesome, and I'm looking forward to it, okay? I do want to remind everyone that pledging for my Patreon for the month of October is open, and the goal has been set. Our goal is, if I hit my standard funding level this month of $1,250, we will be doing a Rockathon. A Rock Band 4 marathon in either late November or early December, dependent on how the schedule goes with the new releases. It's going to be the first time I've ever done a music game for YouTube, and it will be live streamed as well. So it's going to be a special event where I do basically one super long video, because that way there's not a lot of liability for me to get copyright strikes or anything against my channel, since it's only one video. So the only reason I'm doing it is because, as a Patreon goal, I could do a stream, a non-stop one video stream, and not have to worry about doing a long playthrough of it to try to, do it for the business. And I should be okay. If I get a copyright strike or whatever because of it, it's one video and it's only one thing. It's not a big deal, right? I can get it cleared up. So that's currently for Patreon. If you want to pledge for this month, as little as $1, you can get awesome perks, right? And in addition, you can, add up to that goal. Hopefully we hit the goal level and we can do that event. That's at patreon.com/darksidefil. One quick thing, because I've been getting questioned about this over the past day. A few people messaged me on Twitter And they said, hey, Phil, you know, I'm looking at your Patreon page right now, and it says that we've hit the goal already for the Rockathon. So, are we good? And the answer that I have for you, quite frankly, is no, we're not. Because this is the #1 complaint that people have about Patreon as a business, is that your public page shows the amount that's pledged to you, but it includes everything. It doesn't include processed pledges. It's just everyone who says they might pledge. So I'll give you an example here. Last month, when we were trying to reach the goal to do this Halloween marathon, there was one person, you could tell it was one dumb kid, who kept making fake accounts and kept pledging hundreds of fake dollars into here to make it look like I was gonna, you know, get an insane amount of money for the month of September. It wasn't true at all. It was all false. And as I figured, at the end of the month, you know, all those pledges didn't go through. And, you know, it's bullshit. It really is bullshit that Patreon has no defense against trolling like that at all. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who's victim. I can just imagine some people who really are trying to raise tons of money. You know, the good thing about me is that I have this existence on YouTube. That's the majority of the income that I make doing this. And Patreon is the little side thing that allows me to supplement that income. But imagine someone who only gets income on Patreon, and they see these giant pledges coming in, they think that they're doing well, and then come the end of the month, they're all false. And there's no defense against it. It's a joke. It really is. Now, in addition to that, there's also people whose pledges are legit, but they get declined for whatever reason. Maybe they don't have enough money in the account, you know, a typo, that kind of stuff happens too. And typically out of the 150 plus people who pledge to me a month, probably about 20 of them always get declined, but it's always different people. And, you know, some people will update their info or fund their accounts, and then they do eventually go through, and some don't. So again, even though you're seeing this total on the page, it doesn't mean that's what necessarily is actually going to happen. And you can't count on it. So right now, it might show, oh, we're good for the Rockathon. It's probably not the case, especially if that number is really close to the goal number. There's probably going to be people who are going to get declined, and it's not going to cover it. So, you know, if you want to see that Rockathon, if you want to get cool personal perks for yourself, which you can see at patreon.com/darksidephil, you know, including getting text shoutouts, verbal shoutouts, t-shirts, private Q&A videos, getting your questions answered on my Ask the King series, all that stuff. Definitely consider pledging this month. I would love to do that Rockathon come November, December. Okay? But enough about that. Now let's talk a little bit about some cool stuff going on in the realm of movies. So Leanna and I have been watching horror movies recently as a celebration of Horror Month, Halloween, you know, October in general. We always do like a horror marathon. And past couple of days we watched a few good ones. We watched the original Dracula starring Bela Lugosi. What a film it is. Even to this day, to watch that film and some of the stuff they did with the cinematography is pretty impressive. Although it's funny watching it back in HD now, because I have them all, you know, in HD. And it looks so silly. Some of the sets and stuff just look so fake. But, you know, you realize, man, this is the first time I've seen this in HD. All the other times I saw this, it didn't look that bad because it was in standard definition. Once you actually see it in HD and you can see the detail, you can tell how fake the backdrops are and stuff. You're like, wow, now you almost feel like you're there because it's in a higher frame rate, you know, and it almost feels like you're there with them in the movie, which is kind of wild. So we've been doing that. Last night we watched the Amityville Horror remake, which I think was from like 2005. It stars Ryan Reynolds. It's an okay movie. It's not great, but it's decent. It's pretty fun, pretty interesting. But today we're actually going to be going to see Crimson Peak. It's the new horror movie from Guillermo. I can't say this guy's name right. Guillermo del Toro. There, I finally said it right. Here, let me take a sip of water. I don't know why I can't say Guillermo. It's not that hard of a name to say. But, yeah, his new horror movie. It's hit theaters. Apparently, people are saying it's really good. So, Leanna and I are going to go see that today. Today is our errands day, so we have half the day here where I do, you know, streaming and gameplay and stuff. Which I'm not streaming today, but you know what I mean. Half the day I'm doing stuff for YouTube, and then the other half of the day we go out and we do errands, we go to dinner. It's kind of like our date night, but not really, because it's more like we do other stuff that we need to do, like grocery shopping, but we also go out to dinner, so it's kind of like both. So we're doing that tonight. That's going to be fun. When we get out of that movie, I'll be tweeting about it. I'll let everyone know what I thought about it. At They Call Me DSP, that's my Twitter account. So I'll let everyone know when we get out of there. That's cool. We're also going to be picking up a pumpkin, hopefully. That this week we're hoping to schedule in some time to carve it. Although it's kind of tough because we've got personal stuff going on. That's screwing with our schedule a little bit. I'm not going to go too much into detail about that, but our schedules are a little messed up right now. So because of that, we're not sure when we're going to be doing it, but we're hoping to do it this week. And if we do, we will vlog that just like we did last year to show you our jack-o'-lantern and what we made out of it. Okay. And last night I finally saw Avengers Age of Ultron. Okay. And I got a few things to say about this movie that I want to talk about right now. Especially because I know I'm not going to have a chance to do a podcast for probably another month, if not more, okay? Number one, I don't understand why the movie's called Age of Ultron. Because, yes, Ultron is the villain, but Age of Ultron makes it sound like, you know, Ultron has taken over and this is his era to dominate or whatever. And that's actually not the movie at all. The movie is that Ultron is trying to take over or destroy the planet, but he hasn't done it. But I think what it is they wanted to jump on the bandwagon, because if you don't know, a few years ago there was this big event, this crossover event in Marvel Comics, which they do every few years to try to reinvigorate comic book sales. It was called Age of Ultron. Now, in that comic plot line, yes, Ultron had taken over everything. He had totally digitized the planet and enslaved all the humans and or killed them off. And it was up to the Marvel Universe, including, I think, one of the main characters in that one was Wolverine. It might have been Rogue and Kitty Pryde. There was a few of them. A few like X-Men were involved in a time travel mechanic where they had to go back in time and warn the Avengers of that Ultron was going to take over so the Avengers could stop him preemptively before he did it. So that makes sense to call it Age of Ultron. It made no sense to call this movie Age of Ultron. Like I said, I think they just were cashing in on the fact that the comics were called that and it was a catchy name and they were like, gee, let's do that. Maybe some of the comic book fans will see the movie. I don't know. I thought it was silly, the name. I thought the movie was kind of silly, quite honestly. Not that it was a bad movie, but here's the thing. And, you know, this is going to be minor spoilers for those who, you know, haven't seen the movie yet. The villain is Ultron. He's an AI that Tony Stark was creating. He was hoping he could create an AI, an artificial intelligence, similar to Jarvis, which is his AI that he's used in all his movies, to protect the world, to set up like a world defense system so that if the aliens are going to attack, there's a preemptive thing that sets off defenses and stuff so that it's not like, oh, we're sneak attacked by an alien invasion, which is what happened in the first Avengers movie. But the whole premise of the movie makes no sense. So they find the spear that Loki had in the first Avengers movie, okay? And they have the spear. Tony Stark studies the spear, learns that inside of the spear, whatever the power source is of the spear, almost has like an AI inside of it. So he decides he's going to use what he learned from this spear and integrate it into his systems to try to create this Ultron AI. Apparently he and Bruce Banner, you know, the Hulk, they have been working for years to try to create this AI and had failed. Every attempt they had tried to do it, it wasn't working properly. So then all of a sudden, they capture the spear, they're studying it, whatever. By itself, the spear somehow activates, takes over, attacks Jarvis, and this AI from the spear, apparently, jumps into Tony Stark's system, takes it over, and becomes a sentient AI called Ultron, who then replicates himself thousands of times, using resources from Hydra, a criminal terrorist organization. He takes over the internet. And he's basically going to try to... First, he says he wants to take over the planet to save the humans. Then less than halfway through the movie, he changes his tune. Now he wants to, like, upgrade or change the humans because he feels that organic life cannot survive. So now he's trying to make a hybrid of organic life and robots. About halfway through the movie, that's how the Vision gets created. Then at the end of the movie, he's changed his tune again. And now he wants to destroy the planet. So it makes no fucking sense at all. Like, there's no evolution of logic there. It's just, like, nonsense. And the premise is that it was supposed to be this imperfect AI. That Tony Stark had been working on this AI for years, right? And so it wasn't perfected yet, but the fact that apparently the spear that they had found somehow made it more powerful or something. It's basically you have to suspend your disbelief to even understand it, because it really isn't explained very much in detail how this happens. And then the explanation that they have throughout the whole movie is, well, the AI was imperfect. It wasn't finished yet. It was glitchy. And that's why Ultron thinks it's like personality traits and decisions he's making and emotions, but it's not. It's glitches in the AI that are causing him to do this stuff. That doesn't make any sense, because the whole point of the thing was that apparently the spear allowed the AI to become sentient to begin with and have all this power, so why is it still flawed? It doesn't make any sense. And then all of a sudden later on, this is what also doesn't make sense. Later on in the movie, they find out the power source of the spear is actually an infinity gem, another one of these gems that have been part of the Marvel Universe now for the past 4 or 5 years of the movies. And of course, this is all leading up to the Infinity Gauntlet for those of you who are Marvel Comics fans, where they're going to have all the Infinity Gems united, and Thanos is going to show up and all that stuff, okay? But, the point is, the Infinity Gem, they free the gem from the spear, and the gem gets put into Vision, and that's how Vision is created. Now, Vision is fine, and Vision is based partially off of Ultron, and partially off of Jarvis. So it's like 2 AIs combined, but you would think, well, Ultron's an imperfect AI, right? So he's going to have all these problems. No, because the Mind Gem from the Infinity Gems, you know, was put into Vision, so now he's fine, he's a hero, okay? Great. But the Mind Gem is also what created Ultron at the beginning of the movie, so why is Ultron flawed? It makes no sense. Like, you're trying to make sense of this during the course of the movie, and halfway through you're like, why am I trying to make sense of this? This is a stupid, you know, action movie. That's what it's supposed to be, not a thinking man's movie. And let's face it, this is the Marvel Universe. The Marvel Universe does this shit all the time. They don't make things that make logical sense. They say, suspend your disbelief and have fun. And you can always find 5 zillion plot holes and things in the Marvel Universe that the Marvel Universe 90% of the time never actually addresses. And so I'm not surprised this movie did the same thing. But for me, it was lame because you're basically watching all these Marvel movies now. We've had Loki was one of the big major villains who I hated. I thought that was a terrible villain. I thought it was very poorly done. Nothing like the Loki from the comic books at all. Then you've got Ultron. Kind of lame. Kind of a pathetic villain. Wishy-washy. Changes his tune multiple times. He whines. He's a really silly character, in my opinion. Could have been done a lot better. Could have been made to be this really evil, like, overlord kind of dominating character. Instead, they make him this wishy-washy, emotional mess character. Really silly. And I keep saying to myself, I can't wait for Thanos. And when they bring Thanos in, they better do it right. Because these Marvel movies, they're good. They're good action movies. They're good just sit there and watch explosions movies. They're not good, like, character movies, in my opinion. A lot of these characters, you know, they're kind of lame. You know, Captain America was really good in his first movie. And he was really good in his second movie. In the Avengers, he's a fucking pushover. Like, he looks like shit in these movies. He could barely do anything. He's there just to basically kind of delay time. He doesn't lead the Avengers ever, which is supposed to be. He's supposed to be the leader of the Avengers. He hasn't led them anywhere yet. So it's kind of lame in that regard. That's kind of what's happened here with some of these characters. They're not their true selves, in my opinion. And it's kind of really... it's disappointing from being a fan of Marvel Comics because I know how good these characters can be. I've seen them at their best in their respective comics, and to see them kind of be these kind of second-rate versions of themselves just for the sake of plot advancement in these movies is a little disappointing. And I said this last night on Twitter, and I'll say it here in this video. Dr. Doom needs to have his day, because Dr. Doom is the penultimate villain in the Marvel Universe. He always has been. And the thing about Dr. Doom is he doesn't have superpowers. He's a normal human who was a dictator. He was rich. He was hideously deformed. And, you know, because of that, he decides to use his super intelligence and his money to make armies of, you know, different times he does different things. Armies of robots, armies of, you know, actual, you know, human soldiers. He's had superpowered people work for him. He's been the penultimate guy behind the scenes of most of the huge Marvel Comics events outside of the X-Men, because mostly when the X-Men are involved, it's someone else. But mostly it's been him, and then finally it's like Thanos is like the tippity top, right? But we haven't had a good Doctor Doom because we had 2 shitty Fantastic Four series, and he was originally the big villain of the Fantastic Four. So it's lame. He's like tied up in these Fox movies of terrible versions of himself. And, you know, the Fantastic Four had another movie this past summer, flopped miserably. Everyone said it was one of the worst movies ever made. Garbage. Nothing like what the Fantastic Four should even be. The movie itself was fragmented. Didn't make fucking sense. And it's disappointing. Because I would have loved to see, like, all the, like, the Avengers go up against Doctor Doom in this amazing, you know, showdown, right? And then Thanos. But no, it looks like from what everyone's saying, Thanos is going to be the next Avengers movie, and there's going to be 2 of them. So it's going to be the Infinity War, or the Infinity Gauntlet, excuse me. And it's going to be multiple movies. Probably going to have all the characters from all the different Marvel movies. So we're also talking probably Guardians of the Galaxy. We'll probably have all the supplemental characters from all the, you know, the mainstream Marvel movies that have been coming out. You know, there's even rumors that Spider-Man might show up, since Sony Pictures have been making terrible Spider-Man movies and they're all canceled. Now the Ultimate Spider-Man, or what was it? Spectacular Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, that's what it was. Amazing Spider-Man had 2 movies. The second one was so bad that they fucking canceled that shit. So, here's hoping for, like, the penultimate showdown of all the Marvel characters, although the X-Men are still with Fox, and the X-Men, quite honestly, have been doing pretty good. You know, X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past were both good. They were pretty good series. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Age of Apocalypse, what is it, next year? Yeah, so they've been doing good with those, and it sucks that they still got the 2 major, you know, it is the Avengers and all that group of heroes, and then the X-Men. Those have been the 2 big Marvel series, and they're at different studios, and will we ever see a crossover? Because we'd love to see that, right? I don't know if we will. We'll have to see, but... That's a long-ass section about Age of Ultron. I thought the movie was alright, ultimately. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I just thought the villain was lame. And it's hilarious, because at the end, again, spoiler alert, the end of the movie, right, they do their classic teaser scene. And the teaser scene for this movie is it shows Thanos putting on the Infinity Gauntlet. Doesn't have the gems yet, but he puts on his gauntlet and he says, well, I'll just do it myself. And then it ends. It's like... So why didn't they just fucking do that to begin with? No, instead we had to have all these basically filler movies. Avengers 1 and 2 were filler movies leading up to the real deal. The real battle that's been coming all this time that they've been teasing. So, it'll be awesome to see that. I just hope they do a good job with it. I guess we'll have to see. But it remains to be seen. So, had movie talk today on today's daily update. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be doing stuff like this, like I said. When I'm not live streaming, I'll be doing this kind of stuff. Because it's cool for me to be able to share with you. And spend some time talking to you. And I hope you enjoy this, alright? One last thing. In the earlier daily updates this week, I posed the question, should I play gameplay during these daily updates? And it was kind of a 50-50 split response. 50% of the people said, listen, you probably get more attendance on these, or you get more people checking them out if there was gameplay, because people like eye candy. They want something to look at while they're listening. The other 50% said no, it wouldn't make a difference at all, because they don't even watch this video. Like, when they're listening to it, they're listening to it. They know it's an audio vlog. They know that there's no significant visuals to be seen. So for them, it's like, I'm not even, regardless of what you put on the screen, I'm not going to watch it anyway. So for me, it's kind of like, you know, it's 50-50 split. Do I honestly think I'm going to get any more people watching my daily updates if I put gameplay in them? No, I don't. I don't believe that. And being that it would be more work, every day I'd have to take a gameplay video, edit it so that it's muted for this daily update before I can get to work. I think for now I'm going to keep doing it like this. And if, you know, eventually people say, well, this is... we demand that you do this gameplay footage. Maybe I'll do it, but I didn't get an overwhelming abundance of people saying, yes, we want to see gameplay footage during the updates. So, what you'll see every day is me on whatever console on the dashboard here before I get started with my daily gameplay, which today, as you can see, is this guy a 5, finally, after a week away. No, I have not grinded in this game. Some people have been asking, have you grinded yet? No. I'm at the early game. I'm not even at a stage where it's, like, super challenging or anything yet. I just ran through a boss fight that was actually pretty easy. So, there's no reason for me to be grinding yet. Now, eventually, I might have to. But right now, there's been no off-camera grinding. So, I'm just going to pick up where I left off. That's what I meant to say. It'll be about 2.5 to 3 hours of this today. There'll also be a new DSP Tries It released later today. Right after I finish this session of gameplay. So, you'll have that going on the King of Hate Vlogs with this guy of 5 here on DSPGaming. Later today, as well as tomorrow we'll be having more Talos Principle. So we're continuing on with the ongoing playthroughs. The new stuff's coming. This Tuesday we got new stuff. This Thursday, Friday, it's going to be a lot of new stuff non-stop now. Pretty much till the end of the year once this hits. So we just got to get through this final, you know, few days. Bear with me. Apologies to those who've been bored by the content because they don't think the games are amazing or whatever. But we're getting to the good stuff. Alright. That's it, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'll see you later for the new gameplay. Peace out.